We just talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video we're going to do a review for Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, released today, directed by Matt Reeves, starring Jason Clarke, Gary Oldman, Andy Serkis, as well as Kerry Russell and a host of other actors. Very, very good movie. One of the things I instantly liked that I saw is that they improved the CGI. CGI in the first movie, don't get me wrong, was excellent. One of the things I pointed out in my review of Rise was that every now and then you could see clearly that the apes didn't look real, you know? So this movie, they corrected that. The CGI is phenomenal through and through. They look so real. It's incredible. And what makes it even more amazing about this movie is that you see that Andy Serkis and the other actors playing these apes through motion capture. You could tell that not only did they obviously go out there and they study movements and stuff like that, but they had to pretty much incorporate their own human features and their human elements into the ape, because what you're going to see in this movie is you see a host of apes. Some of them have evolved to just walking on two. You know, on two legs. They don't hunch over. Very rarely do they do that. And then you have some other apes that are still pretty primitive, but you know that eventually they'll get to a point where they're going to evolve as well, because they're all, you know, all these apes are you know, it's been 10 years since the last movie, so all these apes have, you know, they've had kids and things like that, and they've grown to a large collective of very intelligent, high, you know, fast evolving apes. So you'll see some of the more core apes, Caesar, Koba, Rocket, Maurice. These apes are obviously, you know, probably the top tier in the collective, and then you have another tier of apes that can do the same things, but they're still learning. Certain apes can talk, certain apes cannot, but they all can communicate through sign language. So right off the bat, the special effects combined with the wonderful acting skills of Andy Serkis, you know, and some of the other CG slash motion capture actors, it's a phenomenal job. Phenomenal job. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. You know, then you have the story. Now, the story takes place, as we all know, 10 years later, where humanity is all but wiped off the map. It's survival. It's the apocalypse. You guys have all seen this before, whether you watch The Walking Dead, Falling Skies, or any other shows that are about human survival. It's the same thing. Resources, 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 trying to get to some sort of normality in the world. And the story here is basically there's a source of power that is pretty much on the, I want to say, territory of the apes, and the humans want access to that so they can try and survive longer. And that's where the conflict begins, more or less. You know, no big spoiler there. That's established pretty much right on the outset. And you know, this kind of makes things. The story is very interesting because when you watch the commercials and you see how things are in a commercial with everybody fighting and stuff like that, you know, you think that the bad guys here are the humans, and they're not necessarily. But then neither are the apes. It's a very, very conflicting story because you have both sides who want peace. You know, you have Caesar and a select amount of apes that want peace, and the apes are going to follow Caesar no matter what. And then you have the humans and Gary Oldman, who is really portrayed as a big villain. He really isn't. He has been through his own pain and suffering, and he is just trying to protect his people. And he strikes a deal with Maurice, telling him, hey, look, you know, you got a couple of days to try and work this out. Otherwise, we're going after him, you know? And Maurice works it out. And Gary Oldman's character does not start anything. Neither do the apes. How's it happen? That's the part you got to watch. How's it all turn? If the apes are being peaceful, not going after the humans, and the humans are trying to be peaceful, not going after the apes, then how does the whole fight start? Well, you'll see, because it was a very interesting turn of events. Nothing like, you know, oh my God, but because you can see when you start watching the movie, you'll see it developing. But I don't want to give that away here because that is a pretty big plot, and it really kind of yeah, it's a good the way it's told. The way it happens and the way the story is told is very good. It's probably this year in terms of movies one of the best movies in terms of completeness. You know, you have a good story, you have good action, you have good special effects, you have a solid cast that all deliver, they all perform admirably, It's probably the most complete movie you're going to get this year. You know, in a long list of movies that have issues, like for example, you know, Transformers, great spectacle, great action, false flat everywhere else. Godzilla, you know, great attempt at trying to build up the movie, great monster and all that, but either not enough Godzilla on the screen or too much visual foreplay, you know, teasing and then taking away. And I'm just talking about other people's complaints. And then there's other movies, you know, Captain America, heavy on the action. Some people liked the story, some people didn't. I thought that was a good story. X-Men Days of Future Past. Oh, too many comic book hero movies, blah, blah, blah. This movie, I find it hard to complain about anything, to be honest. The only thing I could say, and this may come off as a complaint, but it really isn't when you look back at some of the other movies this year. This movie is kind of a jack of all trades, master of none. You're going to get everything you want in a complete movie, but it's not going to master it like Transformers master special effects. Or Godzilla tries to master, you know, cock teasing for the whole movie until you get the big reveal. Or Captain America tries to master all the action. And they do that, fail or not, that's the route they go, but they sacrifice other parts of the movie. Where this movie, there is no sacrifice. You get a little bit of action, a little bit of CGI, a little bit of special effects, good acting, and it all just falls into one big pot, stirs it up, and out comes a really, really solid movie, proving that you don't have to be too much of one thing in a movie to be good. You know, so special effects, fantastic. Acting performances, fantastic. Story is very solid. Picks up from the last one in terms of continuing on about the virus, the ALZ-113, I believe it was called. And also, you get a little fold back into the first movie with some other elements. And it's just a really, really complete movie. A lot of fun. Not too long. A little over 2 hours. I think Andy Serkis was very good in this movie, but I think the showstopper in this movie was Koba, who was played by Toby Cabell, and I think I'm pronouncing that last name right, who's also going to be playing Doctor Doom in the new Fantastic Four movie. So keep an eye out for that guy, because he did a good job portraying Koba. I'm almost certain he did all the CGI and suitmation, but, you know, nevertheless, Koba was a showstopper in this movie. He did, the character did great. For those of you who don't know who Koba is, if you haven't seen the movie yet, or don't remember the first one, Koba is the one that was in the lab a lot. He was probably matches Caesar in intelligence, and in this movie he really has a lot of great scenes. And that's another thing that I got to say about this movie is really good. The establishment and the fleshing out of all the gorillas. Yes, Caesar's still the focal point. Yes, he is central to the story, but we get to know a little bit about Rocket. We get to know a little bit about Maurice. We get to know a lot about Koba. You know, Koba is like Caesar's right-hand military man. You know, he keeps that core group that he met at the gorilla, I guess, facility, for lack of a better term, as well as the lab. Those are his core members. Those are his core group. And Koba has a really good story. And you get to also meet some other apes that are very central to the story as well. I don't want to give away too much. But if you liked Rise of the Planet of the Apes, you're going to love this one. There's still some things about Rise of the Planet of the Apes that I like more than Dawn, but it's not because Dawn doesn't deliver in those areas. It's just because Rise has certain things about it that is that first watcher's charm that you just can't repeat no matter what you do. And that's the only reason why I'll probably always like it a little bit more. But that's not taking anything away from Dawn. Dawn is an excellent movie. Probably one of the best movies I've seen this year, if not the best. As you know, I enjoyed X-Men. I enjoyed Godzilla, obviously. But this movie is definitely a complete movie. I can't really find too many flaws. The only one thing I could possibly nitpick on is at the end, there's one scene that's so blatantly foreshadowing that they might as well have just put foreshadow above it. And some of you guys who've seen the movie know about that. You know, it's right before they, you know, show Caesar and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it's such a blatant foreshadowing scene that, you know, some scenes where you see foreshadowing, it's not as obvious. This is so obvious, it's not even funny. But overall, fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. I enjoyed it a great deal. And that's it. It's one of the best movies of the year so far this year. So we'll see how it does at the box office against Transformers, who's still pounding in the big bucks, and see where it goes from there. This is Rob signing off for ETN, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.
Thank you for watching ETN. Don't forget to subscribe and join the Nation Facebook page. You're watching ETN, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video we're going to do a review for Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, released today, directed by Matt Reeves, starring Jason Clarke, Gary Oldman, Andy Serkis, as well as Kerry Russell and a host of other actors. Very, very good movie. One of the things I instantly liked that I saw is that they improved the CGI. CGI in the first movie, don't get me wrong, was excellent. One of the things I pointed out in my review of Rise was that every now and then you could see clearly that the apes didn't look real, you know? So this movie, they corrected that. The CGI is phenomenal through and through. They look so real. It's incredible. And what makes it even more amazing about this movie is that you see that Andy Serkis and the other actors playing these apes through motion capture. You could tell that not only did they obviously go out there and they study movements and stuff like that, but they had to pretty much incorporate their own human features and their human elements into the ape, because what you're going to see in this movie is you see a